Breaking news from the Wizarding World. Dumbledore has recently been poisoned from water contaminated from Chromium-6. We have exclusive coverage seen here.
Professor.
As this is new to the Wizarding World, I'm here with Muggle scientist Morella Barbosa and Sarah Spangler to discuss the effects of Chromium-6 on Muggles and how we could keep this from entering the Wizarding World.
Hexavalent chromium, also known as chromium-6, is a carcinogenic chemical that can be ingested when spilled into water.
For the viewers at home, a carcinogenic chemical is a chemical known to cause cancer. What are some of the effects Muggles are currently experiencing after exposure to this dangerous chemical?
Muggles are currently experiencing lung, nasal, and sinus cancers due to this exposure to chromium-6. The risk of developing cancer after exposure increases with the length of time exposed and the amount inhaled of chemical.
We were informed that this also occurred in a Muggle town called Hinckley, California. Could you explain a bit of what happened there?
To start with, the maximum contamination levels of all chromium, including chromium-3 and chromium-6, which we'll get into the difference between those two later on, is 100 parts per billion. In Hinckley, the contamination level was 580 parts per billion, so that's almost 6 times the allowable amount. This incident occurred in 1996 and was caused by Pacific Gas and Electric and uncovered by a Muggle named Erin Brockovich. She ended up getting justice for the surrounding community.
So how can we keep this out of our waters? As you have seen the horrible effects it has on both wizards and Muggles.
Chromium-6 is bad mainly because of its solubility and toxic nature, but it's closely related to chromium-3, which is non-toxic and will precipitate in water. The best way to remove chromium-6 from the water is to convert it to chromium-3.
How is this done?
Well, permeable reactive barriers make use of redox reactions to exchange electrons from the barrier to the chemicals passing through.
Redox reactions have two parts, oxidation and reduction. A good way to remember this is through Leo says Gur, where loss of electrons is oxidation and gain of electrons is reduction. You can write out two half reactions for this redox reaction. In this case, iron losing 2 electrons becoming iron 2 plus, and the chromium 6 plus gaining 3 electrons to become chromium 3 plus.
This barrier is placed in the aquifer so that the water must pass through it. The barrier is most commonly made with zero-valent iron. The iron has the ability to donate electrons to the chemical passing through the barrier, which will convert the chromium 6 to chromium 3, removing the danger.
Thank you, Dr. Barbosa, and thank you, Dr. Spangler, for informing the Wizarding World on this topic, and we'll be sure to put the proper precautions to make sure our water is safe. We'll be right back after this update on the recent breakouts from Azkaban.